David Viscott, welcome back. I have Dottie Archibald knocking on the glass for me to pay attention. Dottie, what is it you have?
Well, I have one of your favorite subjects. I have Rachel on line 5 who is communicating with some people she can't see, and I know that you like to talk about that.
Rachel?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
How old are you, Rachel?
41.
What are you calling about?
Ghosts.
Yeah.
I just need to talk to somebody about it, that's all.
Okay.
To get it out of my system.
All right. Tell me what's going on.
Oh, I don't know where to begin.
When did it start?
When I was a little girl, it's always been this way.
Uh-huh.
I just never know who to talk to about it.
Have you ever talked to anyone?
My mom.
Okay.
After about 8 years ago, I finally broke down. I got sick, and I told her everything.
Okay, tell me what you perceive.
I see him like I see you. This is clear. And I never know if there are ghosts until somebody comes up and asks me, who are you talking to? And then I go, uh-oh. They must be.
All right, and how often do you see them?
Not very often. Not as often as I used to. It's been about 2 years since I've seen any. But I can always feel their presence, though.
Okay, and give me an example of what happened the last time.
Let's see. It's been a long time. Let me think back. Way back. Oh, I know. I was working for an agency once. And I went in to take my ticket in so they can clock my hours. And the woman told me to sit down. And I go, well, after you finish talking to this gentleman. And she goes, looked at me kind of funny, like, what gentleman? And I go, this gentleman that's sitting here. And I go, if he was a gentleman, he'd get up. I remember making that crack. She goes, there's nobody sitting there. And I go, yes, there is. So I sit in the other chair. And she told me, well, ask him questions. So I was asking him questions, who he was and all this. I don't remember his name, but I remember him telling me he was an observer.
He was what?
An observer? He observed. Okay, let me explain. If there's something that you want really bad, they'll send somebody down to observe you to make sure you really do deserve it. That's what was explained to me. Okay? I know that's dumb, but that's what he told me.
And what was he observing?
Her.
Her.
Uh-huh. And I told her that, too, and she goes, okay. I really didn't know what to say or do that day. I felt so stupid.
All right. The feeling you had before you went into this this place, what was it?
Nothing. I felt perfectly fine. Nothing, you know.
You weren't anticipating anything?
I never know when I'm going to do it.
Oh, no, I understand that. But were you afraid of anything or worried about something that had happened that day?
Nothing.
Tell me about some of the other ones you've seen.
Oh, heavens. There's been so many.
Well, the most recent.
Oh, dear. Let's see. That's been a long time. Oh, I think a friend had me come over her house once, her father's house.
Yes.
And they were having a little party. And I remember standing there talking to this guy. And again, she come up and asked me, who are you talking to? And I'm going, oh, no, I'm doing it again. And I told her, the guy standing here. She goes, what guy? It happened all over again.
And what was the conversation? Tell me about the conversation.
I don't remember. He wanted me to tell him something. He said he died of an awful death, and he wanted me to tell him who did it. So I did. I told the guy, okay, so-and-so did it.
How did you know?
He told me.
He told you who did it?
Yeah, he told me who did it.
And he asked you who did it?
He asked me to tell the guy that's living in the place, the father, my friend's father, who did it. And I told him.
And what did he say when you told him that news?
Nothing. He just looked at me and like, okay. She believed me. My friend did. She goes, he always does this. You have to believe her, Dad. And he goes, okay, I believe her.
But did he have any idea about the person who you...
He said he feels presence in his place all the time. He hears people walking up and down the hall at night, but he's never seen anybody.
All right, Rachel, are there any other times when you have seen this? Have you ever seen them, for instance, when you look at someone? Give me a wide shot, please, Benny. Wide. Benny? Give me a wide shot. Straight on into me. Okay. Go back further, Benny, a little wider. Can you see anything behind me?
Yeah.
What do you see?
A guy that looks a lot like you.
Behind me. Go back wider, Benny. Okay, where?
Let's see. You're on your left, I think. Yeah, on your left.
On this side.
Yeah.
Okay. It looks a lot like me.
Looks a lot like you.
Okay. Is he pleasant, positive, or negative?
He looks like a very nice guy.
Can you talk to him from where you are?
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to
He
him.
wants to know about a ring.
About what?
A ring?
A ring?
Uh-huh.
What?
Do you still have it? That's what I'm picking up from him. So.
Okay, stay wide, Benny.
That's okay. I can still talk to him if he's up close.
Okay. Well, and why does he want? Ask him why he wants to know about the ring.
Because it was his favorite, and he wants to know if you still have it.
Okay. Why was it his favorite?
Because he said, let me see, wait a minute. It always brought him good luck or something.
What color was the stone?
Green?
I don't believe this. What?
I know you don't. I'm feeling a lot of doubt coming through.
No. Was there anything on the stone?
I'm picturing the ring in my head. No, I don't see nothing.
What kind of stone was it?
It's square. I don't know my stones that well, so I really can't tell you.
Okay.
But
Is it plain or carved?
I think it's plain. That's what I'm getting.
And when did he have this? How long ago?
I don't know. He's not. I'm not picking that up.
Okay.
I don't know. It's been a long, long time. He's thinking a long time.
How many years?
Let me ask. I'm getting 10. I don't know if I'm getting that right or not.
All right. Rachel, come here. You can come in closer, Benny. Rachel, how much torment does this cause you?
Quite a bit.
Why?
I don't know. It's just since I was little, I never knew we wasn't supposed to see him, and I used to sit back and listen to people talk about it a lot.
Do you see any lights around people's heads?
No.
Okay.
No. You mean oars and all that?
Uh-huh.
No. Only once I think I did. Come to think of it.
Well, Rachel, some people see things like this. You don't sound at all crazy,
Oh, thank God.
but you worry about that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever feel the people you're talking to?
What do you mean?
Can you ever touch them?
No, they tell me not to.
Okay. There is a thing called the Center for Psychic Research, and they're interested in people like you.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, there's one in New York City, and you could give them a ring and let them know that you see these people, and they will start to do some experiments with you. And it's if you have that gift, they'll help document it. Do you feel better for talking about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot.
All right.
There's so many stories I could tell.
I'll bet you can.
I don't know. It just kind of got to me after a while, you know?
I know.
I just thought, God, somebody's going to know.
There is a Center for Psychic Research that you ought to get in touch with, and there may be one in Los Angeles too. And good luck with this.
Thank you.
You take care. Let's see, Dottie.
I'm in the booth.
Well, you're on the left.
I'm right here.
Okay.
I just have to ask you, David, did you always, as a child, believe in ghosts? Because I know you do, or one day something happened to you? Because I'm somewhat reluctant to believe in that phenomenon.
It's not a matter of believing or not. It's a matter of seeing one in your own home. And I've just been around too many people who've seen. I'm not saying we know what this is. I'm just saying there are things that are not dreamed of in our philosophy. To paraphrase.
Well, in that particular
Keep
call,
an open mind is all I'm saying.
trying to do that.
All
But in
right.
that particular call, she saw another one of you, not another person who had once lived. She saw another David Viscott. Is this something that's pretty common?
I never heard of it. Hey, don't make me an expert on goats. I'm just a mortal, you know? Afterwards, I'll tell you.
Okay.
I mean, after this lifetime, I'll make an appearance on some television show. With Arsenio, I'll come back and say, who do you think I am? Go ahead, go ahead.
On line 14, we have Amber, who is about to make some risky sexual decisions.
Doesn't sound good, Amber. What's going on, Amber?
Well, I just recently, about 3 months ago, I met this guy, and he sounds real intelligent and real mature and everything. And I was really getting to like him until he said he had to be honest with me. There hasn't been any sexual activity or anything, but he told me that because he was getting to like me and cared about me, he thought he should tell me, which is that he had. I don't understand it, so I really am confused, and I really don't know much about the disease itself. So I don't know if it'll be dangerous or anything. And I'm undecided because I was liking him, and I don't want to just turn off and run because my personality is not like that. So,
Right.
David, I'm sort of confused.
All right, let me tell you a little bit about herpes. Herpes is a viral infection. It's not fatal, and it's usually on the genitals, and it occurs in the form of a vesicle. That's a little pimple with a watery substance in it. It's itchy, it burns. People sometimes have many episodes during a year. They're associated with pain, and then you break out. The vesicles break and dry up, and that can take a week to 2 weeks, and then you may not have another attack for months. But once you get it, you always have it because the virus lives usually inside of bones and inside of nerves. Okay? It's first cousin of the virus in cold sores, and it's also seen in another nerve virus called shingles, which is a painful virus because it operates in that way. Now, when the person is not broken out, they're much less contagious. When a person is broken out, they're very contagious. And although it's been shown that people are contagious when they're not broken out, the risk is much less. You can pretty much avoid the damage of getting the infection if the man uses protection. But the best way to avoid it is to avoid contact during the time of breakout or a time of suspected breakout. If you have the lesions, you don't do that.
Okay.
So it's something you can prevent against, but generally speaking, if you are with someone over a long period of time who has herpes, the chances are you're going to pick up herpes. There is a medication called acyclovir, Zovirax,
He told me about those.
which, if you take it in large amounts, can often stop the outbreak in the first few hours. And so there are ways of managing it, but it's uncomfortable. But on the scheme of things, it's a minor concern, unless you're the kind of person who obsesses about it. If this is a wonderful person that you really care about, I wouldn't let the herpes stand in the way of the relationship. But the person certainly is open enough about telling you, so you have to protect yourself.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
I hope that helps.
It will.
Okay, doke.
Bye.
Bye-bye. We'll be right back. And, knowledge is terrific, huh? Stay tuned. David Viscott, and I hope we can get to some of these calls coming down. One is better than the other tonight. It's wonderful when the phone lines work. It makes me feel so good. Dottie, what do we have?
We have Bob. He's 33. He's on line 10. He has a problem I've never heard of before.
Bob?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
How old are you, Bob?
33.
Of course, I was just told. What's this problem?
Well, this is a problem, and it's funny that Dottie says she's never heard of it because I talked to somebody a while back about it, and they said it's real common.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I'm a guy, and in public restrooms, for instance, or in front of my wife, or, pretty much most of the time, urinating, I'm not comfortable with it.
You're not comfortable with it?
Yeah.
But does that mean you cannot?
Most of the time, say, at a urinal and that kind of thing, if there's a couple other guys there, it would be uncomfortable for me. Now, in a stall, it's no problem.
Okay. And let's go into the feeling in some depth, all right?
Yeah, sure.
What is the feeling you have in front of another man?
Well, you mean in the stall or in the bathroom or anywhere?
Anywhere in front of another man with urinating.
It's just really kind of strange. It's I'm not necessarily embarrassed. It's mainly just it's frustration at not being able to. It's kind of like as much as I would like to, I just can't get it to happen.
Okay. When did this start?
It's hard to say. As I've thought about it from the past, I would think that it was just mainly growing up in a household where you shut the bathroom door and went to the bathroom by yourself, and you didn't, we didn't have what you'd call an open bathroom door in my childhood.
Okay.
And I think it was just a reinforced thing where, going to the bathroom is a private thing. And so it's just...
I don't buy it.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah?
I'm trying to think. There must have been a time when you noticed this for the first time.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think of when. I try to think, well, did I used to, go to the bathroom in the stalls?
Well, you went to grade school, right?
Yeah.
They have a lot of urinals in grade school.
Yeah, right. And that's where it gets kind of foggy, but I'm not sure if I didn't even use the stalls back then.
I imagine that's true.
I think I probably did, because I know through high school I did.
All right. And when you do, and when you did then, do you remember the feeling you had?
Gosh, in what way?
Well, I mean, I can remember being marched through the bathroom outside of recess, and we all had to stand there and use the bathroom while the teacher stood behind us, and it's not very easy.
Yeah, kind of like a requirement or a regiment.
Yeah.
There is one incident that maybe could have something to do with it, but it was when I was about probably 15 or 16.
Please share it.
And it was because I was very into, I was fairly young at getting into sex. I always had an interest in sex, so I had girlfriends when I had my first girlfriend when I was in junior high. But I remember with this one girlfriend, we were at a party, and I said, hey, come on in, I'll show you how guys pee. And we'd been drinking and stuff.
Ever the charmer, you.
Yeah, right. It's like, hey, this would be interesting, because essentially I wanted to see how girls did, And so I thought, well, let's share this. And then it was kind of like, but I couldn't. And I think that was, it was kind of like, wow, this isn't happening. And that might be some kind of...
What is it? What did she say?
She was really very casual about it. It's like, well, tell you what, I'll go out and, do your business. And it was just no big deal. But I remember thinking how frustrating that I couldn't, quote, perform.
Well, I've heard of people who had problems performing, but the first time it was related to that.
Interesting, huh?
Well, it is interesting, but, why make it into a problem?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's ridiculous now.
Why?
Well, it's just, I haven't let it really be a problem. Essentially what I do is I use the urinals, and even if there's a guy there, I just kind of go, well, what the hell, I'll give it a shot anyway.
That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's kind of like I just approach it. Huh?
And it happens.
Yeah, it's really hasn't been much of a problem. I mean,
I don't know the percentage of men who have this, but I bet it's in double digits.
Oh, I heard a guy that I talked to, who was a professional, in certain areas like this, said that he gave the figure of about 1 in 3 guys are at least uncomfortable with it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course.
And I think, and it's what's funny is guys have this whole macho thing where I could almost guarantee, because I always keep that figure in my mind when I'm standing at the urinals, and I'm thinking, well, you know, there's a good chance that one of these guys here is uncomfortable. And I've noticed more and more a large percentage of them either, you know, walk right up and then take off, and you know they haven't gone, you know, or they, you know, hit the handle first, you know, and just to get going.
Well, you know, there are all kinds of reasons why that doesn't happen. I remember one of the residents that I trained with in psychiatry, who there was a bathroom, a common bathroom in the clinic, that was right in the middle of the waiting room. So he used the bathroom, and then he had this 15-year-old kid who was his patient, and brought the kid in to see him. And the kid said, "Gosh, you got such self-esteem." He says, "Why?" He says, "You peed right into the center of the ball. I was listening. You didn't go down the edge, you know, not to make a splash. You went right in the middle. Boy, you're my kind of therapist." And it was what the whole basis of his therapy became. And what people don't realize is that men keep secrets about these things. You know, there's a thing called penis envy. Have you ever heard about it?
Well, yeah, I don't.
Do you know what it's about?
I'm not sure exactly what you're going to relate it to.
Well, men are always wondering, wow, you know, who has a bigger penis?
Oh, yeah, what do I compare it to and that kind of thing?
Most women, I have never met a woman with penis envy, and I've never met a man without it.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so that's our life, you know. We're always being told that our penis is our identity, it's our badge, and we're always, you know, we're always afraid of how we're going to be labeled. And somehow or other, urinating becomes a way of kids who do not have a sexual identity for demonstrating their ability. You know, ever hear the word a pissing contest?
Yeah.
But where do you think that comes from?
Yeah, the whole male thing.
Yeah, well, you stand there, you see who can go the longest or the farthest.
Right, yeah.
Or who's got the biggest nozzle, whatever.
Yeah, somehow your virility is associated with that.
But that's what it is. That's what it is. And the point is, when you hear when you hear someone saying, "I don't want to get in a pissing contest with him," what they're meaning is, I don't want to get into a stupid ego trip with someone else.
Yeah, right.
All right, so welcome to the club.
Yeah.
And it's a non-problem.
Yeah, it's essentially,
unless
it can be inconvenient at times when you think, you know, I really do have the sensation of needing to go, but somehow my muscles have kind of frozen up because there's this guy standing 1 inch away from me.
Well, being pressured will do that. And it's not necessarily anything except hurry up and go. So
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Being pressured will do it to almost everyone. Are you done yet? Oh my God.
Yeah, right.
I'm ruined. This is and you know, so you leave. Okay?
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, these are the stories that we all tell, and the reason my screener Dottie doesn't know about that is because she doesn't know about guys.
Oh yeah, it's just so funny, and it's interesting because I'm always, you know, as I learn these little secrets, it just cracks me up how fake, you know, especially guys really are, just to keep up some kind of image.
Hey Bob, you know what we need? We need more male bonding.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, just opening up about it. Like, hey, has this ever happened to you?
Yeah, you and I peeing into the wind. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Ladies, you're not going to understand this. Don't even try. It's a guy thing. Dottie?
Okay, I don't understand.
Thank you. Let it go.
I have on line 2, I have Rob 16, who's feeling really responsible about something that happened to his girlfriend.
Rob? Hi, can you speak up, please?
Yeah.
How old are you, Rob?
16.
What's going on?
Well, my girlfriend was raped about 5-6 months ago, and I feel that I should have been there for her.
What was the circumstances?
Well, she went out with a friend of hers from Montclair. You know where that is?
Mm-hmm.
To, you know, with some guys that she met a while ago to, like, you know, them party and stuff. And her friend got really drunk, so she couldn't go home. And so, you know, my girlfriend has a good friend, stayed with her. And while her friend was passed out in the bathroom, this guy just went over and raped her. And the only people that know is me and her best friend.
Why has she kept it a secret?
Because I think she feels like ashamed, or she doesn't want people to know.
Well, that's common. I mean, that feeling, you know, of feeling that somehow she was responsible for it. Does she feel to blame?
I think she denies it.
She denies what?
Like, she doesn't talk about it. Whenever I say something about it, like, I told her how I felt like it was my fault that I wasn't there. Everything, I came out and I told her how I felt, and
She said
she
what?
avoided it.
She didn't say anything about your feeling?
No, she avoided the subject. She just, she tried to change the subject.
And how did she do that?
She just tried to go over, and she said, I forgive you, and then she started, kissing me and everything, and just tried to change the subject.
What? And what did you do?
I just kept on trying to, explain to her how, I felt it was my fault, and I'll never forgive myself for it.
Well, I know you feel badly about it, but that's not helping her. I mean, what you do is you express your guilt, and she just responds to your guilt. She has to respond to something much more deep within her, her own sense of rage, which she's not in touch with, and her own sense of being violated.
See, I try to get her to, tell her parents,
She needs to
tell
go
the
to,
cops.
she needs to go to a rape survival group.
I've tried to, get her to do some of these things.
But what you do is you say the following. All right, you really like her, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you say, look, our relationship is not going to be okay until you're over this.
See what I was thinking of is.
Wait a sec, I'm not done. Our relationship, you say to her, is not going to be better till you're over this. And what's more, you have to do something about the anger and the hurt that you're burying, because when you try to hide this much pain, you also hide a lot of the capacity to love. Can you remember that?
Yeah, I think.
So it's important, if you really value her, to get her into a rape survival group. Don't try to. Get her there. Tell her you spoke to me. Tell her how important I told you that was. And if she wants to, she can call me here on this show, or she can call me on KBC at 7 to 9, but she should call me. You should call me. Stay in touch with this. This is really important. I know you feel guilty about it, but your guilt has to take a second position to her rage, because it's her rage that's inhibited, and it's her rage that's going to cause her all this damage.
See, the thing is, she's always calm about it and everything. So
She's not calm about it. It's denial. You need to cut through it. You need to push her, and you need to be sure that that she's paying attention to the right thing, and you need to be the one. Okay? We'll be right back. You stay tuned.
That's interesting.
So?
So Jeff, who is on line 12, is having a problem with his family.
Okay. Let's see if I can find Jeff. Jeff?
Yes,
How old are you, Jeff?
27.
Okay. What kind of problems?
Probably within the last month. It's probably been about a month. I just told my family that I was gay,
Uh-huh.
and unfortunately, right now they're not too accepting of it.
What do they say?
My mom, when I first told her, she, said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Everything's okay." And I was like, "Okay, that's wonderful." And then the next day, she basically called me up and then cussed me out.
Saying?
That she really didn't want to have anything to do with me. And the main problem with that part is that she's an alcoholic.
Oh.
And my sister basically told me that she will do everything in her power to get me out of this situation.
What does that mean?
That, to me, that she's in denial and she can't accept
What do you
it.
mean, to get you out of the situation?
To get me out of being in a gay relationship.
Well, what does that mean she'll do?
She didn't even tell me. She said that she would fly me home if I needed to talk or get away or anything like that. And it's just to me, very confusing.
Well, it's not confusing. It's if you could have a a more integrated point of view, it's tragic, but there's also a silly quality to it, isn't there?
Somewhat, but my whole family never used to be really prejudiced or anything like that. And
Well, you don't come from a well family.
no, not at all.
Okay, so besides your mother being alcoholic, what's your dad like?
My dad died when I was 2, so I've never had a dad.
Okay, and who else is there in the family?
I have 2 older brothers and my sister.
And what are they like?
One of my brothers was very accepting, said that he was, happy for me. He said it didn't, he may not agree with the issue, but, he was happy that I was happy, and he's the only one that's ever said anything like that. And
Okay.
he's the only one that's actually,
There's your family,
yeah, at this point right now, yeah, he is.
and that's what you take, and that's who you're in contact with.
And the weird thing about it is that I usually don't even speak to him.
Well, that's something you didn't know. It's a hidden resource. The other brother?
He is a born-again Christian.
He's not going to be accepted.
No, and his sister-in-law basically called me up and cussed me out. And, she said, we still love you, but we do not know how. And,
We do not know how what?
we love you. So, I mean, that's,
Listen.
very hard for me to accept, especially because I considered him like my father because he raised me.
And you ought to let them know that in the letter.
I did.
Okay, have you gotten a response?
Yes, I have.
Which
and
was?
my brother told me that he thought it was very unethical that I wrote a letter instead of telling everybody in person. And I typed the letter, and he said that he couldn't believe that it was a typed letter and not a handwritten letter because he didn't think that was appropriate.
Well, look at where he's going. I mean, the letter was, you wrote a letter and that you typed it is what's wrong here.
That's what I told him. I said, if that's the only complaint.
Well. I mean, he's looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
He's got nothing, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And what he will not deal with is his pain.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And when someone tells you that you should have written a letter or that it should have been, or shouldn't have written a letter, what they're really telling you is that there's no way you can win right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got one brother. Your sister loves you and wants to help you but won't accept you.
Right. My
Okay.
sister and I are extremely, extremely close.
Okay.
And she unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but she married a Baptist.
What does
and-
that mean?
Um,
There are Baptist homosexuals, I can tell you. I know quite a few.
Right. But according to my brother-in-law, they're not very understanding and very accepting of the situation.
All
so
right.
unfortunately, she's into that situation right now.
Well, that's where it is with them. Mostly we make our family out of our friends. We furnish our lives with the people we make, and we try to bring them into our lives in a way that makes us feel as if we have someone who answers the yearnings of our heart. And when it's your family that you're counting on and they don't follow through in the way you want, it's a disappointment. But the truth is, it's not a surprise.
No, it's not so much a surprise as it is everyone in my family has met this person, and they've all said, he's a great guy, we like him a lot. And now that I've told them he's no longer welcome in their house, and he's the one who is basically the evil person.
Of course, and they're going to say that.
Exactly.
But so let it be. You have to realize that, the rejection and the being ground under and the abuse is part of that in your family. I wish it were otherwise. Be close to the brother who accepts you, and that's the beginning, and who knows where that'll lead to. Take care.
Thank you.
Okie doke. Dottie, who's next?
I have James on line 1. He's 38 years old, and he has some peculiar obsessions.
He does. James?
Yes, David.
Hi.
Hello.
You have peculiar... what is going on?
Well, I'm in love with something that doesn't exist. I guess most people would relate it as being a fantasy woman.
Who is?
A combination of a regular female woman and a spider.
What are you talking about?
Well, I was a virgin until I was 28, and I didn't find that very appealing. And I've been abstinent since, and I'm 38 now. And I know that she doesn't exist on this plane, and
Who is this? Is this someone after a cartoon character?
No, it's not a nothing cartoon. I would imagine the closest thing that I could relate to you that you might associate with would be like Spider-Woman in the cartoons. But I've resigned to realize that she does not exist on this plane.
Okay. When did you first develop this obsession?
Probably when I was about 16.
Okay. What was going on there?
I was just living a normal adolescent life.
You want to be more specific?
I was dating and everything seemed to be going normal and all that, except for in my mind I was a little bit slower and shy and everything with girls, unlike my friends, and because there was an obsession with this, again, I guess most people would call it a fantasy woman.
Okay, now when that woman was in your fantasies at 16, what happened in the fantasies?
I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I guess I've had dreams about spiders, and I don't know. I have sort of an obsession. I like spiders too. I like to watch spiders.
Okay, but I think, it's obvious what this is, right? I mean, it's a retreat from the fear of being rejected and not being loved into a world that you've created that makes you, even if it sounds bizarre, it gives you a degree of comfort and control.
That sounds plausible.
Well, what else would it be?
I don't know. I don't know if a feeling like this is normal or.
Well, let's stop talking about the manifestation of the feeling. The feeling is that you became abstinent following this relationship because I suspect you were hurt.
Yeah, I've been hurt a few times in relationships.
But you became abstinent, you said.
Yes.
How were you hurt in that relationship?
How am I hurt?
How were you hurt in the relationship, which was the last relationship before you decided to abstain?
Well, that was the one and only time I ever did have intercourse.
Okay, and what was intercourse like for you? Was it pleasurable?
No, it felt kind of cheap and dirty.
Okay, why?
Because I met a girl and I thought she was nice looking and everything, and I had sex with her on the first night that I actually introduced myself to her, and again, I haven't had it since.
And the reason why you stopped after that?
Because I didn't find it. I thought it. Oh, I didn't find it to be what I thought it was going to be.
What did you think it was going to be?
I guess a pacifier for my real love.
A pacifier for your real love. Please explain what that means.
Well, I've grown to believe that this Spider Woman is, in my mind, a perfect mate. That someday after this life, maybe it'll come about.
How much time do you spend thinking about this?
A great deal.
suspect.
I've even made computer animations and everything else.
What do you do for a living?
I'm in telecommunications.
Uh-huh. And what do you do with the animations?
I've made animations to look like a Spider Woman.
Okay. Mostly, this is a creation that you use to keep from being lonely.
Yeah, I would agree with that, yes.
And the point is that life is about being open, being able to share that openness with another person, and to find someone to grow old with. You agree?
I think so. I don't know if I'm that interested in finding someone to grow old with. I think the only thing that keeps me going right now is my love for my nieces and nephews. I live my life for my brothers and sisters and my nieces and my nephews.
You don't have any desire to have kids of your own?
Somewhat, yes. But the world scares me, too.
I understand that. It's not just the world, it's everything, right?
Right.
Yeah. So this is the Spider Woman is someone that you can trust because you have control over her.
Well, I don't feel like I have control over it because I don't feel like I've ever...
She's your creation.
Yeah, I guess she's my creation.
You can animate...
I just don't know how she got there.
She got there out of your loneliness. When I was a young therapist, not too many years ago, I had a young lady who...
Oh, you're still young.
Hey, one more call like this and I'll age, I'll tell you. A young gal who had problems of getting close to guys, and she had created a world of horses that spoke a special language to her. And she was 15 at the time. It's a fragile age, right after adolescence is settled in, where you are a sexual being. And you're no longer starting adolescence. You're no longer really in the middle of it. You're starting to get to the point where you could be considered an adult by some people's standards. And you get very scared, because what you want is something that feels like you're playing with fire. And then you wonder about rejection, and you wonder about anyone ever loving you, and you feel this great capacity to love someone, but also this great vulnerability that you have at the same time, and you're running away from it. I think you need to talk to someone regularly about this, because
You think I need to talk to somebody what?
regularly. I think you're a good person.
You mean to open up to
Sure.
a friend or something?
No, I think you ought to see a therapist. Just so you get so you don't feel so isolated, and all of this isn't held within, and you get the sense that maybe there's another way of answering the problem of your loneliness that can bring you a sense of peace and maybe a sense of completion in the world that seems to be missing.
Well, that's what I think I've found with my nieces and my nephews and everything. I was suicidal for quite a few years.
Listen to me. When I say that I think you should be with a therapist, I really mean that. That's good advice. We'll be right back following this. Stay tuned. Well, welcome back. Dottie, it's been an interesting show, huh?
It's been amazing. In some weeks, it seems like there's almost a theme, obsession or whatever, but this week it was an incredible array of different kinds of calls, and some things that I had never heard of, like the guy who had that bashful bladder problem. He was upset that I hadn't heard of it, but maybe men are more familiar with it than women are.
We live by it. Well, so we have to tell people what? We have to tell them that we're going to be on 5 days a week starting the 26th.
26.
And
we need all the viewers we can get.
Yeah, we need we need your support. We need your we need you to be there for us.
And the people have been so there for us the last 2 years. It's just amazing.
People have been terrific to us.
I wanted to just mention one call. We had last week a guy named Tom called in, and he had a problem that he had been sodomized by his father when he was young, and he found photographs.
Yes.
We got a phone call from a group that works legally to help these people, and if Tom will call NBC during the week and just ask for the Viscott office, the Viscott Show will give him that number and he can do what he wants with it.
That's great, because, you know, we try to give as many referrals as we can, but sometimes it's not possible to get them. So what I really appreciate is the way people come to the aid of other people, and it's a wonderful thing to see. And it's really, some of the calls tonight were just amazing. Anyhow, we are going to be back, and we are going to be talking about a whole wide range of issues again next week. I can't tell you what it'll be, because when things are live, they're unpredictable. But I am glad you're sticking with us because you're everything to us. Thanks, Dottie. See you next week.
You may wish to contact the Viscott Center at 1-800-426-4432. The center is open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Private consultation is available for a fee.